Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, the Disneyland Resort is igniting the night once again soon, a big update for an old classic, more Toontown updates.
One of the larger dining locations is coming back, new treat options, we talk about returning spectaculars, and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Well, hello there. Welcome to our unbirthday party. For your safety, please be sure to stay listening with your hands, arms, feet, and ears inside the podcast. And please, do give Tag and Teresa easier trivia questions. Well, it seems DL Weekly is about to begin. Have a most wonderful time. Perhaps tea time.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of February 23rd, 2022. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Tig Bushman. Thank you to Mark S. for becoming an official weekly tier on Patreon. Our supporters get some pretty fun perks like DL Weekly swag, bonus content, and access to our Discord community. If you would like some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to join in.
It's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello everyone, this is Eric Johnson with Concierge and welcome to the D180. While Tig and Teresa cover all things Disneyland in the D180, we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We begin our journey at Walt Disney World, where a non-anniversary is about to take place. The newest endeavor in hoteling is about to open in the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. It's been 6 months since we talked about it here, but the new hotel cruise is set to open on March 1st. While there are plenty of people questioning this new experience from afar, we're not quite so pessimistic here. After all, Galaxy's Edge proved its staying power and immersive theming, so who's to say this new experience can't do the same? Days before the hotel cruise is about to open, news emerged on StarWars.com that a new novel would tie together the classic trilogy of movies with the parks. Apparently, Han and Leia got themselves married and went on their honeymoon aboard the Halcyon, the very same cruiser we're boarding in Orlando to embark on our own Star Wars adventures. Personally, I'm still going to hold on to my memories of The Courtship of Princess Leia by Dave Wolverton in 1994, where we first learned that the witches of Dathomir ride Rancors. Sound familiar, recent era Star Wars fans? Anyway, people have been complaining about the price of a couple nights in the Star Wars hotel, but come on, where else can you get all of your meals included just like a cruise, get admission into the Hollywood Studios park, and access completely original Star Wars stories acted out by Disney's talented cast members? My friend Dan thinks Docking Bay 7 in Galaxy's Edge feels like a space Panera where you might see Han Solo eating a salad and drinking a beer. No adventure, just a place where he's waiting for Chewie to finish his business and get back to the ship. If Imagineers can make a place with this kind of vibe, why couldn't they make an old cruise ship feel like an authentic space experience? Okay, back to the cruise. Space cruise? Space cruise. Yeah. Which suite do you think was the honeymoon suite back when Han and Leia were on board? I'm thinking there has to be something bigger than the 8-guest Grand Captain suites, right? She's royalty. Enough controversy. The first day bloggers will tell us all we need to know. At least until a certain concierge gets to see it for himself, maybe? Let's move overseas to Disneyland Paris, where the March 6th 30th anniversary is about to pop. Check out that logo, by the way. Best hidden Mickey I've ever seen. Disneyland Paris is pulling out all the stops for its 30th, including a new castle show during the day and a prelude to their Disney Illuminations show at night. More than 40 Disney crafters have spent months working on costumes for dancers and costumed characters. 450 costumes means 2,000 lines of rhinestones, 700 meters of custom-printed fabric, and 190 actual jewels in that production. We're really looking forward to this celebration as plenty more surprises are bound to pop up over the next few months. Okay, back to cruises. We were all about the Disney Wish last year, but construction delays took their toll. Nevertheless, the majestic ship recently hit water for the first time and promises a maiden voyage of July 14th. Recent reveals of the ship highlight the exciting destinations on board. We all know a fair amount about the Aquamouse, the first water coaster to feature lighting effects and show scenes on top of a tubing trip around the ship. Kids and adults alike will love the new candy store with inside-out themed treats. There are plenty of age-appropriate areas on board, including the Oceaneer Club, where kids can have fun and adults can wonder if this Society of Explorers and Adventurers thing is all it's cracked up to be. The Disney Wish is designed to maximize staterooms with amazing views. Yes, this also includes the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge, where you can watch ships fly by outside as if you're on a real Galactic Star Cruiser. If only Disney had such an experience. And that's 180 seconds. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you would like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over and visit the social media and websites of both DL Weekly and us, their official travel planners, concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and your family. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Well, thanks, Eric, for all of that information from around the rest of the Disney universe. Now, let's get to the news.
Weekly tiers rejoice! Disneyland has announced the dates for when the nighttime spectaculars are returning to the parks. World of Color, the Main Street Electrical Parade, and Disneyland Forever fireworks will premiere on Friday, April 22nd. Fantasmic will return a bit later in May on Friday the 28th. Disneyland Forever will be presented weekends only until late spring, with Mickey's Mixed Magic projections on the weekdays, and will run nightly in the summer. World of Color and Fantasmic will run their normal schedules upon their return. Woo!
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa. Okay. I agree. Yes. Woo! Very excited for this. Would have been more excited if it would have been in March, but I understand. Yes. Also, Fantasmic taking a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. Murphy's got to wake up and stretch wings and all yoga. That stuff. Yep. Got to get there. That's fine. Get people excited doing the World of Color thing, doing the Disneyland Forever thing, the Electrical Parade thing. Fantasmic will have its own celebration by itself, which I think is great. There were some questions in our chat earlier today about why do we think that Fantasmic is waiting till later. Fantasmic, I think, is returning a little bit later because I think it's a staffing thing. I think it's just there's so many people that it takes to put on that show. And you look at something like World of Color that, of course, there's cast members for crowd control and stuff, but the show itself doesn't really need too much.
See, I don't think it's staffing. I think it's just takes a lot more time to get it together because not only World of Color, you have to get the fountains, of course, working,
which they've been working on,
and the screens. Well, you have to do that part for Fantasmic, but then you also have to get both boats ready. And then once all three of those things are done, the two boats are done, and then the water stuff is ready to go, then you can start rehearsing and having the cast.
Well, you got to get Murphy stretching.
Yep, and then Murphy's got to stretch too. So it's just a much bigger process because it's just such a big show that has so many different moving parts. So I don't think it's necessarily staffing. The other thing too, it seems like it's taken a little bit extra time for them to fix whatever's going on in the pits because they had them drained. When did they have? Was that?
It was a while ago.
July?
It was a while ago.
They filled it again. Yep, and they were filled, and then they were drained again. So, yeah, so it's just taking a little more time. So maybe there was just a little bit more maintenance and upkeep kind of things that they needed to do. I am a little concerned for Murphy because she has been sleeping for a while. So I hope she's okay to make her stage
like I said, she's got to get out and stretch a little bit. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm excited. World of Color, of course. We've been wondering when that's coming. April 22nd, not too bad. Electrical Parade, we also knew was coming. Same day. Are you surprised that they brought back Disneyland Forever for fireworks?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I like the Disneyland Forever fireworks.
I'm totally okay with that. I'm just glad that it's, something that's not so heavy on projections because it feels like the last few shows we have been very projections based.
It still has a lot of projections.
It does still have a lot of projections, but it can't, Mickey's Mixed Magic was made so that it was primarily projections with the fireworks are just kind of, a bonus.
Sure.
Whereas Disneyland Forever, the fireworks are a more integral part, I would say.
I feel like this just proves to me that Remember Dreams Come True is never returning. Because
you never know.
It could have been something to come back for this. What makes me excited is we're under 10 years away from the 75th anniversary, and that's got to be something cool, right? You'd think. Yeah. And then, of course, 100th. I mean, that's quite a ways away. But I'm just saying, I'm excited to see what comes from all of that. Mm-hmm. Well, When the Main Street Electrical Parade returns, it will have a few new surprises. Since this will be the 50th anniversary of the parade, Disney Live Entertainment is adding some new elements. An all-new Enchanted Grand Finale celebrating the theme of togetherness will be 118 feet in length, making it one of the longest and grandest units in the parade's history. Making up the finale will be characters and scenes from Encanto, The Jungle Book, Raya and the Last Dragon, Aladdin, Coco, Mulan, Brave, The Princess and the Frog, and more. I want to say something quick before you go off. Did you notice that this new finale thing is basically the frame of To Celebrate America that I loved and you didn't like? And you're probably thrilled that this is going to be their finale now?
I'm thrilled. I am beyond thrilled. Everybody wasn't very excited, or a lot of people, maybe I won't say everybody, a lot of people weren't very excited for the Main Street Electrical Parade to be coming back yet again. Mm-hmm. But to me, this makes it exciting. This proposed new float, of course, we'll have links in our show notes that you can check out the artwork for this. Beautiful. And for me, this ties into the rest of the parade so much better than the big flag thing. I don't even remember. What was that unit called?
To Honor America.
This pulls it together. Honestly, for me, that section of the parade really dated the parade. I felt everything else felt a little bit more timeless. That felt a little bit more dated to me. Don't ask me why. I don't know why that made it feel like an older version of the parade.
I mean,
this is gonna breathe more life into it.
Sure.
And the fact that we're having some of our brand new characters as part of it too is very exciting, and other characters that we don't get to see, like Hercules. When was the last time we got to see Hercules doing something?
Did you notice too? I know that this will be an extra little bonus for you for this finale.
They're all bonuses.
It is done in the style of Mary Blair, and if you look at the characters, they look like It's a Small World characters.
Yes, they're so
that's
cute.
kind of cool. I did look at this though, and I was telling James this earlier. The first thing that I noticed was the fireworks, and I said that looks like the To Honor America thing. I looked at their careful wording, which was that it is, I even put it in there, making it one of the longest and grandest units. That's because it's literally re-theming that last float that was huge. And they even, the colors and stuff on here is obviously the flag, but they've, rejiggered it. I don't care that much. I do love that finale float, and I know you and I disagree on that. But this does look pretty cool. The only thing that I get worried about with adding new things to the electrical parade, well, one, that means it's probably going to stay around for a while longer because they're not going to spend a bunch of money and put it away. But unless you're Paint the Night, which we'll talk about later. But also, I want to make sure that it looks like the rest of the parade. I'm worried that it'll look newer and fancier than the rest of the parade.
I see what you're saying. I think, with it being the 50th, I think they're going to do a good job to try and honor the roots and honor the original. I don't think they would be putting something in that looks like that belongs in Magic Happens or Paint the Night or, something else.
Do you think... They said a few surprises, and the only thing they've really kind of pointed out was this finale float. I wonder, so in Paint the Night, all the lights on the Paint the Night floats were LED and that kind of LED brightness. Do you think maybe they've rebulbed the entire parade to look more Paint the Nighty? Because then I'd be happy with this whole situation, because it'd be more power efficient, which is good for them. Yeah. It would look more modern.
They could. I don't know. I'm just stuck on this float because look at that. You've even the fact that we have scenes from the newest movie, Encanto, right there. We've got Casita. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah,
this just looks beautiful.
It does look beautiful.
I'm just very excited that we got. Yes, there's characters that we've seen in other things, like there's Aladdin and Jasmine, but I'm just really excited for the not as well-known characters or the brand new characters, because Raya is part of this as well.
Yep.
So cool.
It is cool. This does make me more excited to have the electrical parade back, because if you have not been listening to the podcast long, or if you've been in our Discord chat, you know that my opinion is, please, can we just take it out and bury it finally? Because it just keeps coming back after it glowed away forever 25 years ago, supposedly. But anyway.
The thing with the electrical parade is it's a classic, but we already know it travels because it was at Walt Disney World. So
if you love something, you have to let it go.
But I'm saying, just because we have a new float doesn't mean that it's going to live in Disneyland from now until eternity.
No.
It could go to it could even, we'll talk about it later. Cause I've got thoughts and ideas and all that we're going to kind of talk about with,
I'm excited to hear
our
these.
discussion.
You always bring up like good points that I had not considered that I kind of make go,
Fans of Disney princesses should mark their calendars. On February 28th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Pandora Jeweler will present Disney Princesses, the concert in downtown Disney. Attendees will get a signed, limited edition poster from the cast of the show. Susan Egan, who played Belle on Broadway, Ariel Jacobs, who played Jasmine on Broadway, Sydney Winters, who played Nala on Broadway, and Annalise Vanderpool, who also played Belle and starred in That's So Raven, will be performing. What a star-studded lineup.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? There will be a meet and greet before the show with a line forming at the stage at 9 a.m.
This is interesting to me, bringing a bunch of course, Disney has really done a really great job doing a lot of Broadway productions. And I do feel like there's a lot of, especially because of like Hamilton and stuff like that Broadway's kind of made a comeback. Like it's more popular with more people. And so the fact that they're going to have these stars now, this is one stop on a multiple stop kind of USA tour. So what I would suggest is visit the link in our show notes. If you're going to be in downtown Disney on the 28th, definitely check this out. But they're also going to be around some other areas around the United States as well if you can't make this one.
So we also need to make this shout out. Stephanie in our chat just said that Susan Egan is also the voice of Meg in Hercules. So she's like double duty for Disney princesses. I guess Meg's not technically a princess, but double duty for Disney female leads. That's pretty darn awesome.
We have a firm date on when Mickey's Toontown will be closing for refurbishment, starting March 9th and running until early 2023. The land that Toons built will be unavailable to guests. When it returns, it will have a new layout and sport the new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. As part of this announcement, Disney stated that Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, Mickey's House, and Minnie's House will return, with Gadget's Go Coaster, Goofy's House, and Donald's Boat being reimagined. Thank the maker for that.
Thank the Disneyland maker.
Yes.
This was a little surprising to me. I really wasn't convinced that Roger Rabbit was still going to be residing in Toontown after the makeover. So it's good that we have the reassurance and we know for sure, yes, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin will still be there. I am pretty excited to see what they're going to do with Goofy's House and Donald's Boat, because back in the day, those used to be like play areas, and they had kind of a different thing going on. They changed it for, I can't remember what reasons, I think.
Well, they changed it because it was hard to maintain.
Well, I was going to say, wasn't it hard to like maintain and clean?
They had ball pits and stuff, and the balls would go missing, and kids would have accidents in it and stuff. It was just not very sanitary and stuff as well.
Well, and then, what was it? Goofy's Bounce House.
Same situation.
Yeah, so they had an original idea, it didn't work out, and so it's just kind of been half going from then. I am curious about Gadget's Go Coaster, though. That one surprised me a little bit. I'm wondering if this is going away, if it's going to have a new theme, perhaps maybe not Gadget anymore.
Yeah.
She's not as well known of a toon as other toons are. So I'm curious about that. Yeah,
I think that I don't think they're going to get rid of Gadget's Go Coaster. I do think it'll be rethemed. To what level retheme? Is it going to be like a Goofy Sky School where they just kind of paint over things and it's like the same attraction? Are they going to build some show building around it so you can have some like scenes maybe, or put some more animatronics around to make it a little more interactive?
Are they going to extend it? So that it's more than a 30-second ride?
I'm guessing they're not going to do that, but you never know. They didn't say in the original announcement for Toontown that they were going to do anything with these three attractions.
I know.
So the fact that they're going to, I think, is amazing.
Well, the other thing too is if you look at the concept art, these things still live in the concept art. So they're not going away. They're just getting a facelift.
Yeah. And we'll see what that turns out to be. I also wanted to say, we didn't put it in the news, but I've been seeing pictures over the last week and a half that they are going crazy with building the new Toontown mountain range.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're getting a lot of that facade up and ready to go. They haven't started painting it yet, but all I know is it's kind of interesting that they're going to close the whole land down for a year, almost a year, and nobody will really know what's going on. It'll be interesting to see how people are going to try to get views into it, because there's always people. Even when Galaxy's Edge was being built, people somehow got views. But to basically come into a whole reimagined land, the last time they did anything like this was like Buena Vista Street, when they closed off a bunch of stuff and reimagined it. So it'll be kind of interesting. So could be cool. I'm excited. Maybe the things they do with Gadgets Go Coaster, Goofy's house, and Donald's boat will be stuff that even adults can enjoy, because I feel like those things weren't as enjoyable.
One of the bigger dining locations in Disney California Adventure will soon be returning. Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta should be open for hungry guests as soon as the next few days. This will be a welcome change to this area of the park with all of the available outdoor seating. It's a wonderful corner of DC. It really is.
Yeah, the complaint that Mice Chat had about this was it's nice that Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta is opening, because the Paradise Garden Grill, that's kind of the other half of this area, is only open during like food. Has only been open during like food things. So it'll be nice to have one of the two at least open. I'm sure, again, that this came down to some type of staffing issue, because I know the restaurants have been having, the dining locations at Disneyland have been having a hard time keeping staffed and all that. But I've missed this the last couple times we went there, because I like getting pizza there. I like getting the pasta there. Again, it has great seating.
I've never eaten there.
Really?
So I don't know what I'm missing over there.
It's kind of, when you go inside, it's kind of like the Plaza Inn, but also serves pizza.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's got that buffet line kind of thing, and they give you the food and everything. And of course, we talked to Ethan or Emery, who worked there. I don't know, like a year ago at this point. I'm excited for it to come back, and maybe they'll have some new food concoctions there too.
Maybe.
Weekly tiers who will be in the Anaheim area on March 19th may consider dropping into Bowers Museum. The Art of Disney Costuming, panel discussion, and book signing with the staff of the Walt Disney Archives will be taking place from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Tickets are $20 for Bowers members and $30 for general admission. Advanced reservations are highly recommended. There will also be an online version available 1 week after the event for $10 for members and $15 for non-members. Visit the link in the show notes for more information and to get tickets.
I am so excited for this, because not only is which I don't know why I keep forgetting, but the Crown Jewels exhibit is going on at the Bowers Museum now and still during this time. But I feel any chance to go to a panel that you have people from the Disney Archives, including Becky Klein, is just a very rare and very special opportunity. So this is a really cool opportunity. We got to see, I think we actually went to not the same panel, but it was a panel on the book, The Art of Disney Costuming, when we were at the D23 Expo.
This the same?
The book hadn't come out yet.
But aren't all these costumes the same thing that were at D23 that time? Yeah.
There are a lot of those costumes that are shown on the cover were actually in the display, the archives display at D23. But I think this is a really, really wonderful, very fantastic opportunity for sure.
Becky Klein is one of those people that she's up there with like Imagineers that I want to meet. She's up there with like Tony Baxter. I mean, we've met Tony Baxter, but she's up there with those people that I just want to like watch her and hear her, and because she's done some great stuff, and she's been a lot more involved with things through Disney Plus and everything about behind the scenes things. So I'd love to watch this. And book signing, so you could get a copy of The Art of Disney Costuming and have them sign it, which also would be really cool. It's interesting that it's it's only an hour long.
The panel's probably just an hour long.
The meet and greet and stuff will be later. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. It doesn't say if that's the book signing and the meet and greet, if that's taking place before or after.
Sure.
But yeah.
The good news is, for people like us that don't live around in the area, it is nice that they're doing an online screening a week later, so you could be able to watch it later and not feel like you're missing out and get all that coolness.
Super exciting. President's Day was celebrated in the United States on Monday, so of course, our favorite Eagle patriot had a message for guests. Sam Eagle spent the day at Disneyland proclaiming it to be the most patriotic place on earth. With features such as Main Street USA, the Rivers of America, and great moments with Mr. Lincoln, he just may be correct. To check out his message to fans, check the link in our show notes.
Oh my goodness. So I was so happy to see this on Twitter this week because I love how ridiculous Sam Eagle is. My favorite line ever that he's done, if anybody has seen Muppet Vision 3D, is when Kermit asks him, Sam, how's the finale going? And he says, it's going to be a glorious 3-hour finale celebrating all the nations of the world, but mostly America. And then he's like, you got 3 minutes. Whoa! Love that line. In his interview here, he's in the Opera House in front of the model of the Capitol. And I didn't even think about how much America stuff is in Disneyland until he started rattling stuff off. Because he says, it's the most patriotic place. And the person who's interviewing is like, it's the happiest place on earth. He's like, oh, like, I don't know.
Doesn't he say that he's like working with them to get their slogan changed or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he had to get back to the next showing because his favorite thing to do is to see how many consecutive, if he could beat his record of consecutive times watching great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
I don't know. I think it'd be okay. Sam Eagle needs to also go visit Walt Disney World because you've got Liberty Square.
He is in Liberty Square. They were doing that like the Muppet Show, and he was part of that.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like Walt Disney World has one more place that's because they've got Main Street USA, they've got the Rivers of America, they've got the Hall of Presidents, and then they've got Liberty Square. So
Hall of Presidents has more people than Lincoln. So I don't know. I thought it was hilarious where he's like, Main Street, USA, the rivers of America. I love Sam Eagle. I love him in the Muppet Christmas Carol because he's the headmaster and he's hilarious because there's a line in there too where he's like, it is the American way. And then like Rizzo comes up or Gonzo comes up and like whispers in your ear. And he goes, it is the British way. Anyway.
Yeah.
Love
Sam Eagle.
Love Sam Eagle. Do you like Sam Eagle?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I don't know if he'd be my favorite Muppet. I don't know who my favorite Muppet is. I like Beaker because he's ridiculous too. The Swedish Chef also because he's kind of he's just doing his own little thing. I don't know who my favorite Muppet is.
Now, cute. I love Bean.
Yeah,
Bean is so adorable.
Yes. Bean is he's like a little rabbit for those
personality. I love Waldorf and what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
It'd be better, if it was canceled.
Yep. I do love,
and I like Sam Eagle
watching Kermit, like his face whenever he gets nervous
squishes?
about stuff. Yeah, I love Kermit's expressions. I also like who is the who was the one that we saw at D23 that did like the stuff with the Haunted Mansion?
Oh, the Mr. Doctor.
He's cool too.
He wasn't he also in the Muppet Haunted Mansion?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is, but he's pretty cool too.
Yeah, he is cool. I feel like I wasn't aware of him until more recently. Well, the next time you stroll through downtown Disney, you may notice that demolition has begun on the west side of the shopping area. Construction equipment has moved in around the building that housed the old AMC Theater and Earl of Sandwich location and has started knocking the building down. This
is crazy. So I was watching different videos from people that have posted online. Maybe they were staying, I think most of them, there were people that were staying like at the Disneyland Hotel, so it was from their rooms that had like that looked out over this area. There's also a parking lot kind of back behind here that's for, I want to say maybe it's Grand California. There's a parking lot back here too, a public parking, a Disney owned public parking space. I think it's for the Grand Californian. Anyways, So we've seen photos from that angle too. They're not wasting any time taking this down, that's for sure. So it's good to see that. It was interesting, though, because there were a couple of photos that showed why the monorail is not able to be going around at this point, because the monorail beam is actually not too terribly far from where they are taking some stuff down. So it was a safety thing. So once the demolition is done, then the monorail should be able to start running again. I think they have a return date of sometime in the beginning of March for the monorail.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm just really glad that they have actually started construction, because I feel like we've had this a couple of times now where they're like, we're going to do something, and then for some reason they cancel it or decide not to do it. No going back now. Half the building's gone.
There's a lot of like, we're closing it, putting the walls up, and then waiting. It's kind of like this hurry up and wait situation. So it's very, very refreshing to see that walls went up and boom, there we go.
I will say there were some memories made there we had a couple of meetups there for the podcast.
Yeah.
So that will be sad that area that we met up and had like our first big meetup and stuff at is gone. However, we did have the biggest meetup at the Disneyland Hotel, and I don't think that area is going away. So.
No, yep. And we just have it, they're just making a bigger, nicer
outdoor
space,
area,
because it's going to have grass and all that fun
That'd
stuff.
Be a good meetup place
we'll have
too.
to have future meetups in the newly reimagined west end of downtown Disney there. Well, previously we talked about the magnificent chalk drawings in downtown Disney. Well, Disney posted a time-lapse of the creation of one of the murals by Marcella Sweat as part of Celebrate Soulfully. We encourage everyone listening to visit the link in our show notes to see this amazing creation take shape.
I was wondering when we talked about this, how she was able to create this. So watching this video of how it goes around, I thought was amazing. She starts with the face.
Insane.
And in no time, like a real face, it looks almost like, is there. It is crazy.
In no time. Okay, we're gonna say in no time as far as when you're watching the video, but watch the shadow. That took hours.
But I mean, I'm just saying, compared to the rest of the stuff. Yeah.
It's incredible. The thing that's so sad, though, I didn't even think about, but Disneyland had some pretty bad rains recently. I think I saw that 2 of the murals got washed away because of the rain, and I was like, oh no, because I don't think I've seen anywhere posted how long it takes for her to create these works of art, but man, to have the rain just go whoosh, and just wipe it out. But anyways, super, super cool. I'm so happy that they did this video so that those of us that aren't able to see it in person or see her work in person were able to get just a taste of it. That mesmerizing. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm glad too, because it would have been something that would have been cool. I don't think, if I was local, I would sit there and watch her do it. But I feel like if we were there, we'd watch maybe 10 or 20 minutes of it and then move on. So it's cool to see the whole process in a time lapse. Well, it wouldn't be an episode of DL Weekly if we didn't have a new set of ears to talk to you about. The Emporium at Disneyland has the new ears to celebrate 2022. The ears feature a shimmery blue bow in front of sequined ears, which look like confetti in shades of blue, white, yellow, and red. 2022 is embroidered on the side of the band in red, light blue, yellow, and dark blue. The ears are $29.99. What do you think? I think you said you liked these, didn't you?
I really like these. I don't know what it is about these that I really like, but I really, really like these. I don't know if it's the multicolored sequins or if it's the bright blue bow or if it's the combination of the two, but they are fun. They are vibrant. They are just like, they're fun. They're so, so fun, which I don't know. I just think they're very fitting. Bright, colorful, happy. Love it.
You like this even though it has the year on it?
Yeah, because my hair, you can't see the year.
Sure.
Since
I feel
it's on the band.
Because your general thought with any of the year dated merchandise, you're like,
usually it's like, I don't want something with the year like the year's like plastered across like my chest or my back or some giant thing.
You don't want to be a walking billboard for 2022?
No, I do not. No. But yes, I very much like these ears.
They're different. They look fun. I don't know if they're my favorite pair of ears. I do like that they decided to do different color sequins. I think that's an interesting direction to take it. It does look party-like.
This looks fun.
Yeah.
Well, it also wouldn't be an episode of DL Weekly if we didn't talk about some new food that's added to the resort. There's a new passion fruit treat that came to the resort recently, the passion fruit mint julep is available at the Mint Julep Bar in New Orleans Square. This version adds a hint of sweetness and fruit flavor to the classic mint julep. This is a great option for those who aren't fans of the classic drink. You can give it a try for $5.49.
You know, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, what does passion fruit even taste like? I feel like I've had it before, but I can't tell you what it tastes like.
I've had it before too, but not recently enough to like. I feel like
to
it's
remember.
like sweet but a light flavor. It's not something that's very powerful and strong, like maybe like how they add strawberry to stuff, and strawberry can kind of like take over. To me, it's just it just adds. It just helps build on the flavor that's already there. It doesn't take over, if that makes sense. But this looks delicious.
Kate, what does passion fruit taste like? That's the question.
Tastes like passion fruit. I feel like it's a sweet but lighter.
Yeah. I will tell you that I wonder if this will be like the one mint julep that we had back in D23 that was good.
Strawberry, I think.
Okay. I thought it was like a purple
Maybe
thing
it was.
that we had.
We'll have to look back in our stuff.
But
I could be wrong.
it looks good. I do want to point out.
I want to try this out so bad.
I do want to point out that this person who took the pictures to Disney Food Blog is doing that weird like half grab thing again.
Yep.
I saw that and I was like, Teresa's going to be like, you're going to drop that.
Stephanie, I don't think I've ever seen like a photo of the flower of a passion fruit. I've seen, like the fruit before. I've never had like fresh passion fruit. I've never like bought the fruit at the grocery store and seen it in person, but I've seen photos of what the full fruit looks like. But yeah, I really hope that this is there when we're there again in March, because this is something that looks delightful.
It looks good. It looks good and refreshing. Mm-hmm. I hope this is still there when we're there, although the review is not great. Well, what doesn't taste better with Oreo? A new churro for sale in downtown Disney at California Churro Company aims to find if adding Oreo to the classic Disney treat is a hit. For $7.99, guests get a churro cut in half and covered in Oreo crumbs and a cream cheese frosting. The Disney Food Blog said it was overwhelmingly dense, messy, and sort of bland. The cream cheese frosting was good, however. They also said it is possible that they got like a bad one.
Sure. I wouldn't be able to judge a churro from downtown Disney because I've never had a churro from downtown Disney, so I don't know how their churro differs from park churros. So I don't know.
Mark in our chat just said, "Shut up and take my money," and that's kind of how I feel about that. And Stephanie said her son got it from the cart and it was okay. So we'll have to see, because I love Oreo things. The gray stuff is Oreo.
It's delicious.
So,
well, going to Disneyland is a fun, happy experience to take you out of your day-to-day life. How about being able to live in an Imagineer-designed community? Story Living by Disney was announced last week and promises vibrant neighborhoods, distinctly designed spaces, unique amenities, and Disney World-renowned service. The first of these will be built just outside of Palm Springs in the Coachella Valley, and called Cotino, a Story Living by Disney community.
I'm probably going to ramble about this for a minute. What do you think of this announcement?
I'm mixed. I'm excited about it. I'm like hesitantly excited about it. I don't think if money were no option, I probably would move there in a heartbeat. But I have a feeling it's going to be hefty. I think the price tag on this is going to be pretty steep, so I don't think it will be anywhere within my price range to be able to live here. But I think it's very cool. I think that Palm Springs is very beautiful, very unique, very cool anyways. Mm-hmm. So then to be able to live in a like Disney built community just outside of that really fun area would be great. I love the concept art. I love the shopping area. They have these things. They're like umbrellas, but they almost look like they're like bubbles of stained glass or something. Beautiful.
They look like stained glass leaves, like at the end of a stem kind of a situation.
I think that's like of all the things to be my favorite in the concept art, those are the most like eye-catching and like beautiful to me, because I'm just imagining what those would look like in the sun.
Yeah, I'm sure they look amazing. All right, buckle in, folks. So I have opinions. First of all, on the face of it, love the idea. It reminds me a little bit of Celebration Florida, which was kind of what Disney did to kind of have an Epcot kind of community. I did mention when we first heard about this week in our chat that it was kind of like Disney fulfilling the promise of Epcot in some weird, strange kind of way, but not really. It does look beautiful. My hangups are, I feel like only really rich people are going to be able to live here,
be expensive.
Which I think is a shame. It looks very gated community, like that whole separating them from everybody else thing, which I also don't is particularly like. It's going to be a community that will be, there's like curated experience such as wellness programming, live performances, cooking classes, philanthropic endeavors, seminars, and much more. So to me, it's like, okay, and there's a community association. So to me, it sounds like, okay, you'll live there, but to keep it nice, you're going to have people like, you need to cut your grass. There's just a lot of things that I feel for me would not be a good fit. Love the idea. I would love to live in a Disney community. I just wish it wouldn't be so pricey that average people probably couldn't live there.
Yeah.
And that it wouldn't be so, I'm always a fan of, in a community like this, you want to have standards because you want it to be a nice place to live. You don't want to have somebody move in next door and they're going to park their 50-year-old truck rusting in their front yard, that kind of thing.
Or never
mow or whatever.
Do any sort of upkeep.
Yeah. So I get that you don't want that, but I also don't want it to be one of those things where it's like you put a rocking chair on your front porch and that's against the code, so we're finding you and you got to get rid of it. Like, I don't like that aspect. It looks amazing. I'm interested to see how big this development is going to be. I'm interested to see what the shopping and stuff. I'd love to visit it if anything else, just to kind of see this. I'm with you. I thought these umbrella things were so really eye-catching.
It's like such a small, well, not really small, but like of all the things to be like amazed on. That's it.
They did say it's just the beginning. Other locales in the U.S. are under exploration. I will tell you that I'm guessing that they're probably not going to do it anywhere where it snows.
Maybe.
I mean, the Midwest would be a good one.
I don't know. I was curious about that too, to see where else they're looking at popping up these little communities. And it's one of those things, are they going to wait to see if this is a success or not? Or are they going to start planning the second one before maybe this one actually opens? Because it seems to me like it's going to take some time to get this all done, because from the concept art, it does not look like this little, like neighborhood. It's a full on community. So interesting. I'm curious to watch how this project
unfolds.
Yeah, unfolds and grows and all that.
Well, last week we talked about the new Big Thunder and Happiest Day games coming soon. This week, 2 more games are coming. A Goofy Movie game allows players to join Max as he races to global superstar Powerline's concert while collecting memories for his scrapbook. Return of the Headless Horseman has players helping Ichabod get to the covered bridge before the Headless Horseman. The Goofy game will be on sale for $23.99 and the Headless Horseman for $19.99.
I don't know why, but I feel so nostalgic about the Goofy Movie one. And I think it's because the board it doesn't look exactly, but it reminds me a lot of what Goofy's map looked like for their road trip. And
sure.
I just love, I'm sure that was intentional, but I really love that detail. And I mean, Return of the Headless Horseman, I'm also a fan of Ichabod Crane. So I'm just excited about this solely because of the movie that it's based on. So these are definitely both games that I would be interested in getting. For such beautifully illustrated games, they look like they're very affordable.
Yeah. I was surprised by how inexpensive the games were, too. Just to give an idea, too, real quick, the Goofy Movie game is 2 to 4 players, and the Return of the Headless Horseman is also 2 to 4 players. These look like they'd be fun.
Psst! Avast there. There be squalls ahead, and James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
Hello and welcome to Trivia Land. I'm excited to be back out here to stump you. Thanks mostly to the listener questions. They do you right. We'll jump right into our first question this week from Donna S. According to a cast member she talked to, What is the ghost horse's name pulling the glass casket in front of the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland?
Ooh. I love it.
I feel like I've heard this before, but I have... Oh, Lord. Everybody keeps giving us Haunted Mansion questions, Teresa. I feel like they're trying to stump you.
No, it's because there's so many cool things about it. There's like...
We don't get this many questions about pirates.
I guess there's not as many cool things. I don't know.
I would guess those are the two most asked attractions because there's so much going on in those.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's say you're looking for the name of the horse that pulls the
glass casket.
The glass casket. Oh, Chris, who works at the attraction, is in our chat, and she just said, great question.
I honestly, I'm embarrassed to say I did not know that the horse had a name.
I'm going to say Clyde. I don't think that's right, but I'm going to say Clyde. Like a Clydesdale.
Yeah.
I'll bet you Chris knows it.
I'm sure Chris knows.
I feel like Chris could be sending in all types of Haunted Mansion trivia questions and stumping us.
It is Chris sending them in just under other people's names.
Yeah. This time it's Bob Jones.
Pseudonyms. What a great idea.
Who sent this one in?
Donna S.
Oh, Donna.
I was thinking Ned.
Ned?
It's so weird, but that's Ned. I don't know.
Okay.
Why.
Our second question comes from listener Jill M. And the question is, where do you find a sign that says, never mind, 79 miles?
I'm getting two. Do you know this? Give me a look. I have two thoughts in my head. I don't know if it would be... Okay, now I just gave myself a third thought. If it's maybe somewhere in Cars Land. If it's maybe Autopia. Like
I think it's Cars
sign.
Land. I think it's one of those signs
or
when
Goofy
you come
Sky
in.
is Cool was the other one that I was thinking. Oh, yeah.
I think
Cars
that's where it
Land.
is. Because I think it's when you enter Cars Land next to Radiator Springs, there's that walkway that goes between flows, and there's all those signs.
Yep.
That's the only thing I can think of.
And they're fun. Those signs are really fun because if you ever walk past them
And
it's
read
like
them in order?
Yeah, and read them in order. It's like a sentence or something. Not like an actual sentence, but
Yeah.
they all flow together.
That sounds good.
I think Cars Land.
All right, our third question from listener Chris Y. You were excited Roger Rabbit is sticking around in Toontown.
Oh, no.
How well do you know the attraction? Specifically, how do you make the dip?
Oh, boy.
Oh, acetone, turpentine, benzene. It's like two parts acetone, turpentine, benzene. I think it was a 3 because I remember I used to love that movie, and I loved what's the villain's name?
Judge Doom.
Judge Doom, because he was talking about how they make it. I probably have my ratios all screwed up.
What'd you say? Acetone?
Acetone, turpentine, benzene. Because it's when you mix it together, it's paint thinner. It's what removes paint because they're animated.
Oh.
So dip, right?
I mean, yes, that is
right?
Yeah.
that is the truth behind that. I will
Cripes,
acknowledge
I
it.
wouldn't have known that. The only thing turpentine's the only thing I was thinking of, but no idea for. I like your answer though. That sounds good.
I think it's acetone or something like that. Benzene, I think, is it? Turpentine, I know for sure.
Teresa, those are my favorite answers. I feel like I've missed those from you two for a while. Yes, that sounds absolutely
that sounds
right.
real good.
Well, you've missed a couple weeks with Vern here where I've definitely done that with Teresa. It's the first time in a while that Teresa's done it for me, though, so that's good.
Well, hopefully it pays off, right? Our final question.
I apologize if it doesn't.
Our final true question this week. I'm lost in the park. After my daring adventure under the sea, I head north. On my right, I hear some roaring rapids. On my left, I feel an ominous feeling from a place I used to explore. I continue past and take my first left. At my next crossroad, I take a left, then another into my stop. Where am I?
Wait, whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
After my
Under the
daring
sea.
adventure under the sea, I head north. On my right.
Wait.
North.
Daring adventure under the sea is what's her butt? Ariel's undersea adventure. But
Yes.
she said daring adventure, which is like almost. I was confusing with daring
Pinocchio?
journey thing. He's screwing with me. Okay,
I
so
don't
you turn
know
what?
north.
I head north.
North. Wait. North From the I guess you would exit. So you're going towards Grizzly River Rapids because north is Disneyland.
On my right, I hear some roaring rapids.
Yep.
On my left, an ominous feel of a place I used to explore.
So the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail.
I continue past and take my first left. At my
Grand
next
Californian?
crossroad, I take a left, then another left into my stop. Where am I?
Is he at the Craftsman Grill? If he's going out that way. Otherwise,
How many lefts did you do? 2 lefts?
I take a left after the 2 places. At the crossroad, I take a left, then another left.
That sounds like you're at like the candy place.
On Buena Vista
Yeah.
Street?
Trolley treats is what I'm going to say.
And Tag, what are you going with?
I don't know because you're
Or
there's
maybe
lots of cross things where you could take a left because you could take a left and you end up in the Grand Californian. You could take a left and you end up going down where we saw the queen, the evil queen during the haunted thing where the plane
Maleficent.
is. You take a left and you're at Soarin' or
But he said
Smoke
crossroads.
Jumpers. Well, but that's a road where the plane goes. That's like a second little road. But
Clear,
if you
I
go
am.
all the way down to the road,
I think you're overthinking it.
then you're at the circle where the fountain is, and then he takes a left there too, and then another left. Yeah, so he's probably either at Trolley Treats or he's at
Clarabella's.
Clarabella's, or where's
Or
the place that you
Fiddler
get
Fife.
that?
I will be clear with this since we're asking a lot of questions. My first left after the ominous place I used to explore is not necessarily a crossroad. My crossroad comes after that left turn.
Yeah, that just makes it muddier.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I'm sticking with trolley treats.
I'm gonna smack myself if it ends up being the one, but
Which one?
if it ends up being at the Grand Californian somewhere.
So you're going with Fiddler and Fife Tag?
No, wait, you came up with this.
This is me.
But see, I don't know if James ever went through that entrance exit at the Grand Californian over there.
Just
Did you
pick up.
Did you go? Wait. Did you go to it, or did you just research and find something? And
You've
I have
sucked all the fun out of the trivia question.
I have
yeah, welcome to my life when you overthink questions all the time.
no,
I
this
have
is-
explored this, but I found
That's an
these
unfair
directions via
advantage,
the Disneyland app.
That's an unfair
I'm going to say the
advantage.
craftsman, the GCH grill craftsman bar thing that's over there.
There you
And
go.
I'm probably wrong. You're probably closer to being right. I don't think you're right.
Your first answer was the Craftsman bar before
Yeah.
you did this whole.
Well, because it was confusing.
I mean, that's my goal. I'm
I'm
lost.
going to have you draw this out when we get an answer.
Sounds great.
Okay.
All right. Finally, we are recording this on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
2/22/2022 of a Tuesday, of course.
Okay.
So I figured only fitting to ask your opinions. I have 2 questions for you.
Oh, jeez.
What is your second favorite attraction? And what is your second favorite place to eat?
I don't even know what my first favorite place to eat is.
This is good, though, because usually you say, I can't pick. It's like picking your favorite child. My second favorite attraction. See, I feel like the last couple times we've gone, my favorites have changed because I used to say my favorite attraction was Indiana Jones, but I've been kind of like frustrated with it the last couple times we've been there.
My second favorite attraction is probably. Ooh, I forgot about DCA. I was only thinking about Disneyland, and then I remembered DCA right then. That was the ooh. I'm gonna say my second favorite attraction. I was gonna say either Pirates or Indiana Jones, but then I thought about DCA, and I think I'm gonna go Radiator Springs Racers.
I'm going to say, second favorite. I feel like I'm going to forget some obvious thing.
The monorail.
Maybe, ooh. See, I want to say like Space Mountain, but I feel like I don't make a stink to go over to it enough that it would be my favorite.
I think I'm taking my answer back. I'm gonna stick with Pirates.
When we're in the park, what do I get most excited to go on? Like, what do I always ask? Like, we should go on this. Because you always want to go on a Haunted Mansion. That's easy. That's your first, though.
You say Pirates.
See, I feel like I would like Splash Mountain more if I didn't get wet.
Jill the canoes.
That's a great story, Jill.
Mark Twain. You always ask to do Mark to make
It's
sure we do the Mark
relaxing. I
Twain.
wouldn't say it was my favorite, but it's relaxing in a busy park. I'm just gonna pick something because I don't want to hold us up forever. I'll say the Haunted Mansion because I feel like I'm always up for riding the Haunted Mansion. I could ride it a bunch of times and it doesn't get old to me.
There you go.
But Pirates, sometimes I feel like after I've ridden Pirates a few times, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. But I feel like I don't ever feel that way about Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And then for food, you know what I've been really happy with lately is the Jolly Holiday.
Jolly Holiday has been good, yeah.
The Tropical Hideaway has fallen off for me because that was like, I was all about that for a while.
I think my second favorite place to eat is Ronto Roasters.
That's a good one. I'm going to say Plaza Inn.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Because your chicken, I'm going to get the chicken next time because that was really good.
It was very good.
I want that right now,
they have been
actually.
doing such a good job that it's hard to pick like the favorites. It's honestly even hard for me to maybe say what my I don't even off the top of my head I can't even think of a least favorite place right now because
Smoke Jumpers.
Yeah, Smoke Jumpers probably. But yeah, but like overall there's not
or
too
I had a
many
bad
of my...
shawarma. The shawarma cart would probably be a one down there for me too.
Yeah.
And
okay, so Tag's got a whole list.
Pim Test Kitchen wasn't great the last time I had it either,
Yeah.
which disappointed me because that sandwich was so good the first time I had it.
Do you think it was actually so good, or do you think like you just had been, building it up?
It felt bigger and it didn't look all stupid. Like they just threw it together. And the second time I got it, it was tiny, and the third time I got it, like everything was all disheveled on it. And I was like,
Yeah.
But you did like them for breakfast.
yeah, they're okay for breakfast, but there's not a lot of good breakfast options. I really miss the Riverbell Terrace for breakfast because I love the Mickey pancakes.
And the breakfast potatoes.
Yeah, I really miss those. The Steamboat. It was called the Steamboat Breakfast. It got you a Mickey pancake and potatoes. Anyway.
Who would have thought your opinion questions were going to be the harder questions
What was your
of the
food
night?
place? Ronto? Okay.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Opinion questions, hardest questions I could give you, right?
Okay,
sure.
stop. James, what's your second favorite attraction?
Smuggler's Run.
Behind?
Space Mountain.
Rise?
Rise?
Rise isn't out there for you, huh?
No. Rise,
Okay.
Rise is up there in terms of like pure value, but joy I've had on riding them, Space Mountain and Smuggler's Run are my top.
Okay, and then food?
Yeah, that one I've been lingering on a lot too. I'm thinking back to when we were there, and I want to say Lamplight because those chilaquiles were so good and the atmosphere was just fantastic. But I've only done it once, so I'm afraid to put it up there as my number 2. But that's probably where I'm living right now.
That's a good choice. Lamplight's a really good choice.
Is that for 1 or 2?
For 2. My experience at Blue Bayou is still my favorite.
Well, that's because it was a good...
Like I said, who would have thought the opinion question would be the hard one? We'll find out how they did on the questions that do have actual answers after our discussion topic this week.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, we decided, because we have all these cool spectaculars coming back, we have the Main Street Electrical Parade and Phantasmic and World of Color coming back, and, of course, Disneyland Forever. We're going to talk about why do we think that these things were chosen over maybe some other things, or some reason that other things haven't come back yet, like Paint the Night is a good one that I know is top of mind for me.
Magic Happens. I'm very sad about Magic Happens.
Magic Happens makes even less sense than Paint the Night because what did that run for? 2 weeks?
Yeah, not very long at all. So this was the one thing that I wanted to get out there because a lot of people online were saying, wondering why poor DCA is only getting in the grand scheme of things, DCA gets World of Color. Yay.
That's true.
And then the other 3 things are all Disneyland.
Yeah.
And so, why is Disneyland getting 3 nighttime things?
Well, I mean,
and poor
Disneyland.
DCA is only going to get 1, which is crazy when you think about it because DCA was built for crowds much better than what Disneyland was built. And then the other complaint too was we don't even know if we're getting an updated World of Color. We're assuming that it's just going to be the original. Well, one point that was made that made a lot of sense to me was they can't bring a parade right now to DCA because of all the festival booths. Think of where all those festival booths are right now. They're along the parade route. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because somebody, well, why isn't the electrical parade in DCA instead of, that kind of stuff. So right now it just doesn't layout wise make sense because of festival booths. And those booths are going to be out. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's a while though for Food and Wine Festival. It's not a short festival like Lunar New Year was. So those festival booths are going to be out. And there's going to be a lot more of them. So that is why no parade right now at DCA. But the one thing that's really weighing on me that we haven't heard about, and it really has nothing to do with our discussion topic, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. What is going on at the Hyperion?
Oh, yeah.
They closed it. The cast of Frozen was told that it was a permanent stop for the show, not to expect to come back for the show. I'm very sad that very large, beautiful space is just sitting empty, and we don't even have any sort of whisperings as to when it might come back or what show might be replacing it. So that's really sad to me because that's something that I always really enjoy doing. Of course, we always enjoyed Aladdin, A Music Spectacular.
I
did enjoy Frozen. I didn't enjoy it as much as Aladdin, but it was a very good quality show. So I'm really looking forward to see what's next.
Me too. I think what I think is going to go on with that to address your Hyperion situation, I think that's all going to wait until they figure out the phase 2 of Marvel area over there. Because why would they develop a whole show with maybe in the next couple years they're going to do something different? Maybe have you seen the latest Marvel Hawkeye? Did you see Hawkeye?
Yes, I saw Hawkeye.
Maybe they'll bring Rogers the Musical to the Hyperion. Producer James said he would watch Rogers the Musical, and I don't know if you watched, there's like a credit scene at the end that has like a good chunk of it, which would be hilarious.
Had, like, the full song,
Yeah, it would be hilarious. I don't know if it would have like staying power, because one of the things that was great about like Aladdin was you'd go because the genie would refresh jokes and stuff. Go back and listen. I think somewhere in the 40 to 60 episode range, we talked to Dylan, who is the genie. So if you want to hear that, that's a great conversation we had. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be something Marvel, and they're just waiting.
Ooh, I kind of hope not. I hope that Marvel doesn't continue to...
Well, they said that they're going to... That whole corner is probably going to be Avengers.
With that big, like, beautiful stage, I would like to see something more like beautiful and spectacular than...
You could still have a theater and have it not be Marvel something, but I just think thematically they're going to want to keep it something maybe Marvel-y. So that could be interesting.
I'm going to hope not.
And I want to go back because you said Magic Happens, which I think a lot of people have forgotten about because it was only there a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And so you think like, oh, last time I was at Disneyland, we saw this parade or that fireworks show. Paint the Night, not that many people saw, so I think a lot of people just don't even know that it existed.
Well, a lot more people saw Paint the Night than they saw Magic Happens.
Oh, that's what I mean. Magic Happens is what I meant. Sorry. I'm all over the place. Paint the Night was
there twice. Yeah.
And it was there for one of the anniversaries too. But I'm with you. When is Magic Happens coming back?
I'm very sad about Magic Happens. It does make sense because that first announcement when they said that it was going to be the electrical parade coming back, I like a lot of people were like, what? Like, why? Like, why not?
Right.
Why not?
And you love the electrical parade.
Why not specifically Magic Happens? Because that poor parade did not get to shine for very long. That just really that makes me so sad. Just how many hours were spent into all the costumes, all the floats, everything for it to just have a 2 to 3 week one, whatever it was.
Do you know what I think they should do?
So sad. But but it makes more sense to me now that it's the 50th anniversary of the electrical parade.
That does make sense.
It makes sense,
When I was a kid and I went there in the 90s, do you know what they used to do at Disneyland? They had a daytime parade, and then they had the electrical parade at night. Why can you not have 2 parades running?
Well, my question for you, I mean, we've already talked about why I don't think a parade can happen right now in DCA.
Well, yeah.
But just in the general Disney-ness, why do we not have a nighttime parade at both parks? Why can't we have the Main Street Electrical Parade running in Disneyland and Paint the Night running in DCA nightly?
Yeah.
So you could have 2 nighttime. The only place that you're going to have fireworks would be Disneyland.
Sure.
But you could have 2 nighttime spectaculars. You'd have World of Color and Fantasmic. And then you could also have 2 nighttime parades. Paint the Night in DCA, Main Street Electrical Parade in Disneyland.
Yep.
Why not?
I mean, one of the things that happens at Disneyland is a lot of people will see World of Color and then park hop to go see the fireworks or something.
Yeah.
If you, like you said, if you do 2 nighttime things, people will stay in the park longer.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good thing overall.
And then you're going to then break those crowds up too, because think of how congested it gets for the one parade. So whether it's Paint the Night or whether it's Main Street Electrical Parade, how packed it can be for everyone wanting to watch that show. Well, if you now have 2 shows, you're also thinning your crowds out a little bit more. And like you said, separating it so you have more people are staying in DCA.
How about you even schedule one of the parades at DCA during the fireworks? Because that'll cut the crowds for all the fireworks, because everybody mass exodus goes over to Disneyland to see the fireworks, or even hang out in the Esplanade to watch the fireworks. And then the Disneyland's packed the rest of the night.
So when we watched Paint the Night, Vern and I, when we watched Paint the Night back during Pixar Fest, it was actually you had to make the choice. Am I going to watch Paint the Night or am I going to watch the fireworks? Because Paint the Night started before the fireworks began, but it wouldn't end and you couldn't get over there in time. Maybe if we would have been smarter and like went and sat at the start of the where the parade actually started, we ended up sitting closer to where it ended. I was not nearly the same Disney park nerd as I am now to know what side it starts on and what side it ends on at which times and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Now we could figure that out, but we just picked a spot that we liked. And anyway, so maybe we could have timed it, but it was a much tighter time frame between the 2 that you really couldn't run over and do both.
Now, so we have no idea why Magic Happens hasn't come back.
No, and it makes me so sad.
Paint the Night, I think, is just in this weird limbo forever. We haven't seen or heard that any of the floats have been dismantled or sent somewhere.
There were rumors that it was going to go to Walt Disney World. Again, rumors that
for the
that
50th,
parade was going to go to Walt Disney World. I don't know if it was for the 50th or what. But then there were also people saying that Paint the Night was not built for Disney World, and like something about like the turns and all that stuff. Like you couldn't actually really take that parade through Walt Disney World. So it was built for Disneyland. So which kind of makes sense, but also kind of doesn't make sense, because I feel like Walt Disney World's a much
more open,
and I wouldn't think the turns would be as bad, but who knows, that might be total.
Well, for a long time at Disneyland, there was a couple years there where they had one of the parades where I think it was the not Paint the Night. It was the 50th anniversary parade, and I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head. But they had a Frozen unit that was too tall, so during the holidays, they couldn't put the garland across Main Street because it would hit that. So that was gone for a good 2, 3, 5 years, something like that, and people were very excited to see that come back. You do have to think about all of that when you're designing a parade thing, because you got to think about getting around the corners, you got to think about being able to get under things, because Disneyland is tiny.
Yeah, it's really amazing to me that Paint the Night was able to go through Disneyland, because it's a big parade. Like I'm thinking of Mac especially, and Mac trying to like get around the hub. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so we've got the fireworks show coming back, right? We're talking a little bit about this now. I don't think, as much as I want it to happen, I don't think Remember Dreams Come True is ever coming back. That was the 50th anniversary fireworks show, which I still think was the best fireworks show Disney's ever done.
So why do you think that is, though? So I've not gotten to experience it, so I don't really have much input, but there's got to be a reason, right? Everybody has great memories of it. Yeah. And clearly they like to keep our great memories alive. We're looking at you, Main Street Electrical Parade.
If I'm being honest, it's the reverse of the Electrical Parade, which is I love this fireworks show, so I want it to come back. Like you like the electrical parade, and it's fine to come back. They ran that parade for over 10 years, or that fireworks show for over 10 years. So they did it for the 50th in 2005. It ran through
maybe I have
almost
seen it,
every night or almost every season until the 60th, because the 60th they did some Fantasy in the Sky kind of thing that was temporary, and then they did Disneyland Forever, which is what they keep bringing back now, because that was the 60th anniversary fireworks show. So I just want my e-tickets in the sky section back. In fact, they could probably get away with, they could cut the beginning of the fireworks and cut the end of the fireworks and just do the e-tickets part, and I'd be happy, because that was the best part of the whole thing. The other thing, I think, if they did it like they originally did it, they did have to close a lot of things down. So right now, from when we were there, that they closed Fantasyland down for every night fireworks. Well, they closed the area around the Matterhorn off because they launched things off the Matterhorn. They closed off some areas around the restaurants on Main Street because they had launchers on top of all the way around the hub, which is interesting because I distinctly remember one of the nights being there eating at Rancho, and there's launchers on top of Rancho, and I remember sitting out in that outdoor patio eating, and they're like, foomp, right next to me, and I'm like, I feel like this would be in the area where there'd be fallout that they would block off, but apparently not.
Wow.
But that was an awesome show. But I also think it's expense, right? They had a ton of pyro with that. They're definitely going more in hybrid things where they can do projection during the weekdays, do pyro during the weekends. It does kind of make sense.
The nice thing about that, too, is then you don't have to 100% cancel the show if weather's not cooperating.
Okay, here's
like
a really
wind already,
dumb question. Do you know, does anybody in our chat who's here know, Chris, maybe this is a good question for you, Kate, maybe. When they do Mickey's Mixed Magic and it's just projections, does Fantasyland stay open? It should, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't.
Yeah. I just hadn't thought about that because that's really cool because then those things stay open. Yeah. Oh, see, Chris,
well, and
yes.
It's kind of goofy, but like Small World open, even though they have the projections like on Small World. The only thing they did was pause the train so the train wasn't going through during it. But I didn't realize it, but people were still getting in line and boarding the boats during the show, which was interesting. It's sad and like emotionally when we first heard some of the stuff, we're like, what? But it's one of those things, again, once you talk through it, it makes sense. I like your idea, and we'll have to see if there's anything to it, if they've updated the lighting on the rest of the Main Street Electrical Parade floats or not. If they gave those floats a bit of a refresh as well. Because honestly, this new grand finale float at the end seemed like it came out of like total left field.
Right.
There was no hints, no like winks, no nods, no nothing saying that anything was changing. So that's really interesting to me.
So here's a question. So a few years ago, some of in going back and forth and when the electrical parade wasn't actively performing somewhere, some of the floats got damaged beyond repair. So that's why some of the old like Pinocchio section and stuff is gone because it got damaged. I wonder almost, do you think part of that last float got damaged and they're like, well, we can use this as an opportunity? Or do you think that it was just like what you think, which is it's time? Like we should do something different.
Yeah, I think for me, it never felt like it made as much sense as the rest of the, it didn't flow with the other floats.
Well, it wasn't anything Disney. It was just America.
Yeah. It just seemed, it always felt a little out of place to me. So I think that this is a really nice tie-in.
At the rate that they're updating this parade and changing things over the years, by the time 10 years from now, if they keep bringing it back, it's going to be a completely different parade anyway.
Well, yeah, they're going to have swapped everything out.
It does have great music, but I also thought that Paint the Night had great music.
Oh, When Can I See You Again?
And I never got to experience Magic Happen, so I can't even tell. Like, I remember hearing parts of it, but it's different when you're watching it and you're in the park and it's got that loud, playing in the park.
Which one?
Magic Happens.
I was too busy singing.
Yeah, I know.
I was too busy singing When Can I See You Again?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, too. I feel so bad because that's new music that they put together for that poor parade. I just feel so bad
Poor
for that
Hall.
parade.
I want to watch fireworks from Galaxy's Edge because everybody talks about how amazing it is back there.
Oh, wind conditions. It's all about the wind.
Is that something that's on your list to see fireworks from Batu?
I can. Not as high up because you can't hear music or anything over
That's
there.
true.
World of Color. What are your thoughts on World of Color?
Oh, I want to say one thing about Phantasmic before I forget.
Yeah.
So we had Evan on like a year ago now, and he posted on Instagram that he was doing some updates for Phantasmic. So I messaged him, was like, both coasts or just World? Just World.
Dang.
But I'm wondering with all of these things, because there was also rumors that World of Color, because you asked about World of Color, if World of Color would be updated, because that's way easier to update than a bunch of other stuff. But I'm hoping that they do some updates. I'm interested to see, because they are doing so much work on the boats and stuff, on the Mark Twain and the Columbia, that I'm wondering if something different is going to happen there. I don't know.
I'm not assuming any sort of major updates for Phantasmic, but I could see them doing updates on World of Color and like just kind of keeping that quiet too. I'm seriously even more excited to see Main Street Electrical Parade now with your thought of, do you think they updated and like refreshed the other floats too? That's an interesting thought that I hadn't thought of before. The only downfall to all of this is, unfortunately, our next trip is scheduled the month before all of these are coming back. So we will have to wait a little bit longer. Does it make me tempted to go look and see if there are decent airfares out in May?
What's our blockout
June?
calendar, though, is the problem.
Yes, it does make me want to look and see if there's decent airfare to fly out in late May, early June. But yeah, I haven't looked at our blockout calendar yet.
Don't you have our close? Well, I guess it'd be a week later. But I was like, don't you have a reception here in the La Crosse area in late May?
I do, so I wouldn't be able to go at that point.
I don't know.
So it's coming back for Memorial Day weekend then.
I'm excited that these things all have announced comeback dates, because that with the trams. So that's another question that we didn't ask. What's left? What hasn't come back that after all these things come back are we waiting for?
There's like a Nick Jr. show that's on like the Nick Jr. stage. I don't know if that's fully come back or not.
Sure.
And then the other thing that I would argue that hasn't come back is a stage or something at the Fantasyland Theater. Right now it's just...
And the Hyperion, which we talked about.
And the Hyperion, which is right now just kind of temporary things. The other thing too is the Princess Stories over at Fantasy Fair.
They are refurbishing that though, so I assume that's also coming back soon.
So it's interesting because it's still going to be... There's kind of some scuttlebutt. Who knows? We'll know once the construction scrims are down. But there's some people that are worried that maybe it won't be a theater space anymore and it will be like a meet and greet space. I don't know.
I don't feel like that, because the meet and greet space is great that they have there.
No, like an additional meet and greet space. I honestly don't know. I don't see why they would do that. I don't see why they would take that show out. And then, yes, also the trolley on Buena Vista Street.
Well, the trolley closed originally because of what? Avengers Campus construction stuff, right?
Yeah. So I'm not sure. And so then that would also be the show with the trolley too. So
cool. James, do you have any opinions on stuff coming back or not coming back? Or is there anything, I know you weren't sitting here, but is there anything that hasn't come back after all of these things come back from COVID? Or are we 100%? Because the tram will be back, World of Color, Phantasmic, Electrical Parade. We talked about Hyperion and Fantasyland not being a thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the theater shows coming back. I definitely miss those. I feel like I enjoyed Mickey and the Magical Map a lot more than other people.
I loved Mickey and the Magical Map. However, it's gone.
Yeah, so I'm eager to see what eventually takes over those. I don't mind that it's taking time to get back there, be it a staffing issue or just figuring out what's new in the next step. I think it's fine that we take our time to get there. I think I just come at this with the mindset of I'm glad there's more happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially as we get some fan favorites like Phantasmic really making their appearance come back eventually. I just think it's a good thing no matter what. We can keep being patient no matter how hard it is.
You know what the other thing that all of these things do, Teresa?
What?
It makes the lines at the attractions better because it disperses people more. So your evening lines, and even with Genie Plus and stuff there, will be a lot better.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
So,
speaking of, since we had fast passes for nighttime shows. We had fast passes for World of Color
Oh, it'll
seating
probably
areas.
be in the app, yeah.
And fast passes for Fantasmic seating areas. Do you think those are going to be your normal Genie selections, or do you think those are going to be paid add-ons?
That's a great question. I feel that they're going to want to continue to market and sell dining packages. So I feel like they'll push people if they want to pay for a good spot to do that. Otherwise, I think it'll just be either included as part of the paid Lightning Lane, Genie, whatever.
Or do you think they're coming back at all? I could almost see them moving away from that, because I think originally they only included that because it was another thing that you could fast pass for that wasn't specifically an attraction. So it's kind of more quote unquote bang for your fast pass buck. Specifically more so for Walt Disney World, and then just kind of came over to land. So yeah, I'm curious if they'll have it come back or if they'll just do away with it. I could see it going either way.
I'm not sure. It'll be interesting because I didn't even think about that, because I've only been there once or twice since they've been doing all of that, and usually we've done dining packages, so that kind of thing. Well, what do you guys think? Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you guys want to let us know, and maybe we can read on our feed, like as part of a feedback next week? Email us feedback@dlweekly.net. You can also make a comment on this post wherever you see it, on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and we'll be happy to listen and hear what you guys have to say about things.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@dlweekly.net.
Hey, welcome back to Trivia Land. I am excited to share how you two did this week.
Oh boy.
Our first question from Donna S. According to the cast member she talked to, what is the ghost horse's name pulling the glass casket in front of the Haunted Mansion into Disneyland? Well, I'm glad you two get to learn something out of this tonight. The horse's name is Nightmare.
Oh!
That's cool.
That makes sense.
Nightmare.
Yeah. Great
And
name.
it's probably Nightmare, Mare, I bet.
I mean,
like-
that is how you spell nightmare.
But like
yes.
nightmare, because like mare as
Oh,
in a
like a horse. Yeah.
It's really smart. Our second question from listener Jill M. Where do you find a sign that says, never mind, 79 miles? You're on the right track, but you went for the wrong type of transportation. You should have gotten on a train and headed down to the wildest ride in the wilderness.
You know, somebody listening in on our Discord did say that.
They did. So good job, Stephanie.
Was it Stephanie? Mm-hmm. Good job, Stephanie.
Yeah, but I see why you get exactly where you got. Our third question, how do you make the dip? Good memory by Tag and smart choice by Teresa. Acetone, benzene, and turpentine.
Boom.
Dang, good job, Tag.
Good job, Tag.
And I didn't have the values of them, actually. I was
Did you
just
look it
looking
up?
for the ingredients. No. So I'm just going with, you probably know.
Maybe he didn't say like it was different thing. Maybe he just said acetone, turpentine. Oh, here, there's a clip. Yeah, I guess they didn't have. Well, good enough for me.
And our last question, I'm lost in the park. After my daring adventure under the sea, I head north. On my right, I hear some roaring rapids on my left, an ominous feel of a place I used to explore. I continue past and take my first left. At my next crossroad, I take a left, then another left into my stop. Where am I? My answer is the Tenea Stone Spa, but I will also consider the GCH Craftsman Bar and Grill. Tag, I will give you the point.
Wow. Okay, so it was going through there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because the spa is also to the left.
Yeah, but yeah, he said his second left. So
Yeah.
That
Good
extra left
job.
turns you in there, so...
Woo! I
Well-
didn't know that that's where the spa was. I, for some reason, thought the spa was like
Oh
over
no,
the
we
main
walked
part of the
past
building.
it when we were there.
Everything kind of looks the same to me as I'm wandering by over there.
Yeah, so clearly I'm really lost in the park because I've left the park.
See, I didn't even think about leaving the park because of. Yeah, I was just thinking purely park.
Yeah.
I can't make it that easy.
I'm
huh?
glad that I didn't. I'm glad I just went with my gut that it was probably out that area.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has not going with your gut got you a wrong answer in this as well?
That's true. That's true. Teresa goes with her gut, and she does well at trivia, so...
Not this week, I didn't.
Not this week, but if you look at the numbers, I think you, by far, get more correct answers than I do.
I mean, of the 2022 questions, Teresa is more than, or nearly 55% correct.
And where am I?
45%.
Yeah. If you go to the tab for last year, does it have...
It does.
And that doesn't say when we've jumped on each other's
bandwagons. You two are very
bandwagons.
close as far as I remember for that one. Yeah, you two are nearly identical at about 48, 49%. Teresa has a slight edge.
Told you. I told you.
I don't know why.
Because you have this knowledge just up there somehow. You've read enough books,
I guess.
and it's just kind of in there.
In.
Yeah.
Even more so, she finds it. That's the key to trivia.
You know what it is? You use the pensive. You pull it out of your head and throw it in the thing, and then you're like, there we go.
Wrong studio. Wrong park.
It's all right. It almost would have been Disney.
That
would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would have been real interesting.
I wonder if they would have built it back where Galaxy's Edge is, or where they would have put it if they were to build it at Disneyland. Anyway.
Yeah, so that'll do for Trivia Land this week. I'm sure we'd be interested in hearing about your second favorites in the park, just like we shared ours. So you can send that in, along with any questions you have. Maybe your second favorite question, even, that you could ask.
Oh, jeez.
Our email is trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.